Nancy, are you ready?
Ready.
Patti, are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Dan, and this is the Napkin Academy, and I am super excited today because we're going to do another draw together, and this draw together is extremely special for many reasons. And two of those reasons you can see on the webcam right now. We are going to be talking to none other than Nancy Duarte today. Nancy, would you please say hello?
Hello.
And Patti Sanchez.
Hey, everybody.
And there she is. Okay, and Nancy has just joined too. All right, so here's Dan. Do you see Dan?
Yep.
So I'm going to say hi, Nancy. So this is funny. I'm communicating with you on video, and I'm communicating with Nancy on the Zeitboard.
Oh, this is super fun.
There she is.
iPad.
Well, I had drawn a picture of my face. You drew a circle around it, which I interpreted to me being an astronaut, which I always wanted to be.
Oh,
which
that's
puts
funny.
Which puts us in the NASA mode. So we're going to start with Patti. So Patti, you're the Director of Strategy at Duarte. Is that correct?
Pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah.
She got a promotion.
Oh, she
She's
did?
my Chief Strategy Officer.
So Patti, can you tell us quickly, I know you love stories and words, can you tell us quickly, what does that mean?
Well, in practical terms, what that means is I do strategy for our clients and strategy for our business, which is basically the act of figuring out where you want to go and building a plan to get there. For our clients, more specifically, it's the communication plan, what to say, who to say it to, when to say it. But somebody recently described me as not the Chief Strategy Officer, but the Chief Sense-Making Officer.
Oh,
and
nice.
I feel like that fits a little better.
And you mentioned an interesting name in there, Duarte, which would then be a nice segue to introduce Nancy herself. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Duarte. Nancy, could you just give us a quick introduction, 2 or 3 things that we need to know about you? Because I'm going to add a whole bunch of stuff after you go.
You need to know that I have a 2-year-old grandson who is the cutest baby on the internet. You need to know we just moved into an amazing new space, and we built an area called the Story Place, where we are going to start to broadcast storytelling, live broadcast.
Oh, nice.
And the other thing that you need to know is that Patti should be a registered empath, because she's massively empathetic. Those are the 3 things you need to know.
Those are perfect. Well, I'm going to add 1 or 2 pieces onto that because I was doing a little bit of research on you, Nancy. And I know, as I said in the introductory email, that you are a pretty important person to all of us in visual thinking and in the Bay Area. I mean, and I did get the statistics. So Duarte is the largest communications firm in Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. And you founded Duarte, which is now the 5th largest woman-owned business in the area. Mm-hmm. And you are the go-to storytelling shop for many of the world's most incredible brands. I mean, and to have you join us on Napkin Academy, and both of you as the co-authors of ILLUMINATE, it's pretty incredible. So let's talk just briefly about ILLUMINATE, co-written with Patti. Is really incredible. I reread it over the weekend. It's been out for 2 years. And one of the things that I found about this book that was so remarkable is it takes absolutely the highest possible road. It's the most highly aspirational book on storytelling that I've really read. I mean, I think it is marvelous. It's just marvelous.
Where do I send your check to, Dan? I don't remember.
Okay, the address is... So starting with Patti, we're going to start with Patti. Patti, could you just tell us, in a couple of sentences, being the wordsmith that you are, when you were working on ILLUMINATE, what did it really mean to you? Because it ain't a normal book. It's really something special.
Oh, well, thank you for that. My wish when we started out to write ILLUMINATE was to provide a guidebook to leaders at all levels of organization everywhere in business and society to help them get their ideas adopted. And Nancy's other books have inspired me too, to communicate well in a particular moment. But what we were really trying to solve with this book was how to communicate to create a movement over time. And I pictured a lot of leaders that I've worked with over the years who I think have really important ideas in them and just have struggled to mobilize large numbers of people to embrace those ideas and carry them forward. So that was my dream.
Nancy, please.
Yeah, I think what happens is we feel like as leaders that we're the star of the show, like we're the ones driving the change, we're the ones with the vision, and it's easy to get really caught up and self-focused on what needs to happen and where we need to go. But in reality, your dream isn't going to be realized if you don't take people with you in mass, and that makes them the ones that determine the outcome of the story. You're not the one that's going to determine it. Your communication and the way you communicate and the way you rally people to come with you will play a role, but if others don't come with you, your ideas won't become reality. So you know, so many people think that Frodo was the protagonist in Lord of the Rings, but it was actually Sam. Sam actually is the protagonist. It was the one who came alongside and the one who was transformed.
Who enabled him.
Yeah, the one who was transformed the most was Sam. And so I think it's interesting that we have to be conscientious of the transformation we're asking our travelers to go through on this long journey. With us.
That, Nancy, is the perfect segue into some drawing together, because here's the rules.
What's going to happen, Nancy, is that I am going to reread my copy of Illuminate. I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to pull 5 of my favorite quotes. And you won't know what they are, but they're all words that you and Patti wrote. So
we better read the book too, Patti.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen is I will pull one of those quotes, I'll throw it on the screen, and I'll say, you get to start, and you get to draw five lines, and no more than 5. And then you're going to turn it over to Patti, and then you're going to turn it over to me, and we'll keep going around until we feel like and we'll talk as we draw until we feel like we've drawn one.
Okay, let's start with Patti. Just pick a number between 1 and 5.
3.
3.
Because there are 3 of us.
Let's scan down to quote number 3. Here it is. Okay, now Patti, this is your words, so why don't you read us the quote?
Symbols can have a powerful effect on business. In the blink of an eye, something ordinary becomes imbued with meaning and charged with emotion.
Imbued and charged. Patti, can you draw us a way to amplify or illustrate what this means?
Well, one way that I think about it is that it's almost like a symbol is a reduction sauce. You know, if you cook it all and you put a lot of ingredients into that pot, you know, you've got some carrots, that's a carrot. Did anybody not know that was a carrot?
That's a carrot. That's a carrot.
I'm a word
now it's a carrot, yeah.
That right there is the best visualizer in the world, right there, drawing.
Yeah, definitely not. That's a celery.
I knew that was celery, yeah.
Maybe some onions. They all go in the pot and you cook them down for a while. And what ends up in that bottom of the pot after it's been cooking for a while is some super flavor sauce. This is my word, flavor sauce. And you can't even read that because I don't have clear handwriting. But basically what a symbol is it is the most potent distillation of an idea. These are all your ideas. And the symbol reduces them down into a phrase, an image, a sound, some form of distillation of that idea that takes on this super powerful, tasty meaning, and that's a person with a mouth. See, I'm not...
All right, Nancy, we need to have you... Nancy, dive in. Nancy, I want you to dive in. So we've got this sauce symbol percolating, distilling down this reduction. What else is going to happen in here?
Well, so I'm going to draw a little giraffe because that is Duarte's symbol, and he's smiling. So our symbol was based on a ceremony. So when people gather and have a meaningful experience, it'll completely infuse an intangible object with meaning. So for about 20 years, every staff meeting, we had this thing where people would pass a giraffe. And it started because this gal just went to Costco and bought this little giraffe that sits on a shelf and was like, hey, I just want this kind of ceremony, where she didn't call it a ceremony, but she said, I really want this thing where I could stand up every staff meeting and say, hey, I want to pass this to so-and-so because they stayed late. I want to pass it to so-and-so because they pitched in or something. So for years and years and years, we passed the giraffe. Well, then it was like, well, that symbol is so potent in our organization. We call them giraffe-formations, and it's just this. It's a sign of affection. So when you look at a giraffe, its heart is the largest heart in the whole animal kingdom.
Can we add that? Can we add? Yeah. You go. Oh, please.
Yes. Its heart is the largest in the whole animal kingdom. It also puts its neck out for others, right? But the big thing is that, do you know what a herd of giraffes is called, Dan? A whole
No
herd
idea.
of them?
No, a giraffe is my favorite animal, so I'm about to learn something
Does
really.
anyone know what a herd of giraffes is called?
Let's
Anyone?
do it. Let's make it interactive. Hands down for everybody. If you know what a herd of giraffes is called, would you please raise your hand?
All giraffes here.
Go ahead and type it into the question phrase if someone knows what a herd of giraffes is called. Anne, I see your hand is up. Drew, I see your hand is up. Melanie. Okay. I don't know what it is, and I'm not getting an answer. What is a herd of giraffes called?
It's called a tower. And I love that because the tower is a symbol of strength. A tower is a symbol of refuge. And I feel like when the Duartians, we band together, it creates this incredible place where you're safe and you belong. And so it has all kinds of like emotional meaning for us here. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to add something now onto this. So Patti, the idea of a symbol being the distillation, the kind of reduction. It's the most incredible stuff that's down here at the bottom of this after you've really stewed it down. I love this analogy as well. So I've got this beautiful, I'm actually going to make it almost like a jewel. It's so flavorful down in here. And I'm not going to make it giraffe flavored because that would be a little bit upsetting. But we've got this symbol. Now, but what I particularly like about where this is going is the power of the symbol, this ordinary thing that becomes imbued with meaning, is going with both the analogy of the Tower of Giraffes and with the meal. What I love most about eating, I love eating, but I also love the fact that eating is this social thing to do. Yeah. And so we all get to sit around and we all get to share in this incredible stew. And that is how the symbol becomes meaningful for all of us, because even though we're each, taking our bite out of it with our little giraffe headsets on, the symbol is taking on a meaning that is beyond what any one of us can do. Yeah. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's cool.
What do you guys think about that? Do you like that drawing?
I love that drawing.
I love that drawing a lot.
Except the little face that's barfing at the bottom of Patty's. I'll turn it into
no erasing, because the whole screen will fall apart if we erase. All right, so Patti and Nancy, do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy, pick a number between 1 and 5 that's not 3.
5.
Oh, 5. What was 5? Let's see if I can remember what 5 was. 5 was. Oh yeah. Okay, this one I think is for you. This one's for you. This was towards the end of Illuminate. I believe this was probably one of the last sections in the last chapters. Nancy, please read us your quote.
Leaders are naturally restless. Just as your arrival seems imminent and your vision will become reality, a new dream begins to stir inside of you.
Nancy, let's start the drawing with you this time.
Yeah. So if there was a gap between the past and the present, and then you have the future, I pretty much dwell over here, way over in the future, so much so that sometimes I use the present tense for the future because I'm there all the time. And I think that's what a lot of leaders do. They're having to think about, like, where do we need to go? Where does the company need to go? Where's the market going to go? How do I make sure we are okay and all my employees have food? I won't draw food because Patti is an expert food drawer. But so what happens is, like even though we're ready as an organization to arrive, I'm already 18 months away. And so what happens is they're like panting at the top of the hill, like, and I'm already like swimming, I'm already jumped in. And so I think that you do have to constantly be in a state of dreaming because things shift so fast. Things shift super fast. And you have to be ready for them. Whoosh, see my whooshes?
So Patti, add a little bit more in. Okay, and Nancy, you just said about 19 things that lend themselves towards all kinds of more pictures that we can add in here.
Okay.
Well, what I was embellishing this drawing with was all those little giraffe people over there. This is Nancy here, and she is leading us toward the future, something that she sees way off there in the distance. And everybody else in the organization is here. They're in the present, maybe some of them clinging to the past, something that they love here that they don't want to leave. And so the communication challenge is to get them over here into the future to help them be able to see it just like Nancy can and to embrace it. And I think that's where communication really has power, is to help people imagine this thing that they haven't seen yet. So and in the leader's mind, it's already real, but in their minds, they haven't crossed over yet.
And I also want to add something in, because Nancy, as you were talking about this, you said you can kind of look back and you see people slogging over the hill, you know, panting, and you're already over here on the other side. So this reminds me, we've got a little bit more time here. This reminds me of quote number 1. Would one of you say, hey, Dan, could we draw quote number 1 for a moment?
Hey, Dan, can we draw quote number 1?
What a great idea, Patti. Thank you. Let's draw quote number 1 just for a moment, because it is, I think, a direct corollary. It brings us back in the loop of Illuminate from where we already ended at the destination in a way, because there's another quote. There were so many quotes that I couldn't put in. I had to limit myself to 5. I had 25 that I wanted to put in here. One of them was, when you reach the end, it starts over. So Patti, now, can you start this one? Torchbearers, that's a new name for us. We haven't heard that one yet. What is a torchbearer within the context of Illuminate, and how does this tie back into what Nancy was just drawing a moment ago?
Well, one way that I think about it is Nancy has written in her previous book, Resonate, that part of the opportunity or challenge of the leader faces is communicating sort of the gap between what is and what could be, in that helping people understand this is the status quo, and this is change. This is the new reality. And the leader is trying to get people to embrace this new reality. But what is in between is this abyss, this frightening, dark place. And there are, sea monsters in there. They breathe fire. And for the people who are living in what is, going there is a scary and dark place. But what the leader does is they bring the inspiration, they bring the clarity that lights the way through that darkness. This is a torch.
Okay, Nancy, take on from this. I have a question for you. As a leader who's getting people to go from what is to what could be, and you've got to lead them through this scary abyss with sea monsters, can you add in here some metaphors, analogies of what might be approaches to doing that?
What is interesting is when you think about the concept of a torch, it's you usually use it in a place that's dark, dank. Like it's not like you run around downtown carrying a torch. You're usually in a cave. You're in a place where you can't see, maybe foggy. And when you throw a torch out there, it only illuminates the next few feet. It doesn't illuminate. It's not a lighthouse you can see from miles away. And I think that the leaders need to understand that whatever comes out of your mouth needs to bring people hope in the present. It needs to help them be able to take the next step or the next 5 steps. You're not going to go from what is all the way over to what could be, but you need to phrase things in a way that creates longing so that they're like, you know what, I can do that. I can take that step. Oh, now that you've shed light on that, that's easy. I don't know what I was afraid of. And that's what's supposed to happen. And that's why we chose to call it a torchbearer. This whole concept of fire, a lot of times the leader has like a fire in their belly. It's like a fire inside of them. That's what gives you the endurance. That's what gives you the elixir to keep going. It's that object of desire. A lot of times is like a fire in your tummy that just burns. And that's what keeps the flame alive. And it's what helps drive people to the ultimate end game.
And if you think about it, help me, I want to make sure I get this right, because as I'm listening to you both, in my mind is, having freshly read Illuminate, I find that it is a book for the torchbearer, isn't it? It's really designed for the torchbearer.
Yeah.
That this is your guidebook, your handbook, your roadmap for what might be some of the practical and aspirational tools that you would use to light the way. And Nancy, your metaphors are beautiful, both in the pictures and in the words that you're saying. Light the way a little bit as you go. And, it's interesting. I liked your analogy too of, there could be a big lighthouse out here, a huge beacon. And I think that it is often a mistake of a lot of leaders to think, oh, can't you see it? It's way over there. Let's go. But if it is too far away, then that can be very disheartening. It's interesting. This reminds me of conversations that I've been having with a lot of people that I work with. I realize, Nancy, maybe this is a part of the reason we get along, some similarity between us, because very often when I'm working on a project or something, the client will start to tell me about their idea. And very often it just happens that right away I'll get an idea in my mind, just kind of a vision of, oh, we could do this. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it already. I got it. You don't even need to say anymore. It's perfect. And I realize what's happening is that when that doesn't go well, the jump is too far. And this isn't about aggrandizing me. This is a flaw in a way that the vision becomes so clear that I forget what it was like to not have seen it yet. And forget how am I going to get someone else to come along.
Exactly. Even if there is a lighthouse, the fog is dense. Like you think about the fog of war, right? You're in this moment of trying to get all this stuff done. You got this small motley crew, and you're just kicking up all kinds of dirt, and you just can't see past the present. And that's what Patti does for me. Like, yeah, I'm way in the future, but I need someone to bring me to the present so that when I light my torch, there's someone around to care that it's lit, you know?
This is so great. This is so great. Anybody want to, we've got a few more minutes. Anyone want to try quote number 2? Because this one, I don't want to end on this one, but I just want to touch on it quickly. Patti, I think maybe, no, Nancy, it'd be your turn. Nancy, take us through this one.
Yeah, you know what? I think some people can't handle, is they're angry, they're supposed to look scared. Oh, how did you make someone look scared? That looks like a Dr. Seuss thing. So
I like it.
I think that because the future is a place no one's gone, that obviously like there is no map to get there, and it is scary. It's scary. Like what's weird is by the time I bring my plans to the present, I've maybe spent 80 hours on it, thinking, is this right, is it wrong, researching, talking to people. And then if I just drop it, if I'm just like, hey y'all, hey Duarte, we're headed here, and they're hearing it and they get like 3 minutes in a all staff meeting to adapt to it, they're like, what the heck? Like, you know, I could be like, we're going to Disneyland, and people would be like, but wait, what? Yeah. You know, how, you know, you're just like, it's just scary if they don't have enough information to make sure that this future is certain. So, yeah, there is no map. There is no place no X that marks the spot. You might have an X, but I can't guarantee the path we're going to have to take to get there.
No map. Very, very scary.
Yeah, no map.
Patti, you want to add something to this one?
Well, I don't know if you have a quote coming up that talks more about there is a sort of a map, which is what we give to leaders in Illuminate, that is really not so much about what the path will definitely look like. You know, does it go like this, or is it a straight line? Most likely not a straight line, but the path to communicating and helping people move through that change. You can anticipate. You know that you're going to have to communicate something in the beginning to express your dream to them, and you know that they're going to have to make a choice about whether they want to take the next step with you to come on the journey, which is the leap that they're making. We know that they're going to encounter some obstacles along the way, which is when they're going to have to fight. And we know that you're along the way also going to start accomplishing things. If people join you on this journey, they overcome some obstacles, they'll help you climb closer to your goal. And at some point you're going to arrive, you're going to accomplish enough of your vision to be able to say, you know, time to plant the flag, and that's a flag. You know, we've gotten somewhere, and now it's time to look back and learn from that journey. So while the path may be circuitous, the process of bringing people along with you does have a pattern.
This is the underlying, and this is the pattern, the underlying story that makes up Illuminate, and you go from the story, and then we've touched on many of the attributes that you described, the story that goes along with it, the characters that go along with it, the symbols that go along with it, and to kind of bring us to a conclusion, I think this is the quote that we began with here. Once the torchbearer has arrived at the destination, it does start over because they're leaping ahead, they're seeing the next thing, and it's got to start the whole loop one more time. We've got Frank Vermey. Frank, I'm going to see if I can turn on your microphone. Frank, can you hear me okay? I've turned on your mic.
Angry little giraffe, huh?
Frank, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Frank, you had a comment in your question field. Could you just read to Patti and Nancy what it was that you had responded?
Yeah, I was just saying there is no reaching the light at the end of the tunnel without following the torch and its bearer.
There you go. You're not. Let's go
That's
back to our
exactly
picture we drew. Let's go back to, I think it was quote number 1. You are not going to reach the light at the end of the tunnel unless you follow that torchbearer. Frank, I don't know that we've spoken before. Where are you located?
I'm French. I'm usually based in France, but today I'm in Germany.
Oh, you are? Okay. What part of Germany?
Close to Frankfurt.
Oh, very nice.
Excellent.
Okay.
I
All
was
right,
just in Frankfurt in December, and thank you for your Christmas markets. I had a lot of fun there.
All right, Frank, it was nice to chat with you, and welcome to Napkin Academy. I hope to talk to you again.
Thanks, same here.
All right, we are right at the top of our hour, so, okay, let me go to the end where we've got a little bit of free blank space where we can just draw maybe one kind of concluding image. I want to thank you so much, Nancy and Patti, for joining Napkin Academy and having the courage and the leadership to be willing to draw together without a net. So I just want to add one last picture. This is Dan over here, and I want to, big heart saying thank you so much, both of you, for having joined in. And I will wear my little giraffe. What are those things called? They're not really horns. What are those things called?
Dinkle dangle. Dinkle dangle. It's like
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
scientific dinkle dangle.
Patti, thank you so much for joining us and our associates around the world. Nancy, thank you so much. It is fun to do.
Very fun.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. Nancy, again, thank you, Patti. This is Dan and the Napkin Academy signing off. See you again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Dan.